the Isabella Stewart Gardner Heist. The night of March 18, 1990 began as an ordinary evening in Boston, a city where cobblestone streets converged with rich history and urban charm. Little did the bustling cafes and quaint shops know that the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, a jewel of the city, would soon become the backdrop for a crime that captured the nation's attention. The museum, built in 1903 and designed to resemble a Venetian palazzo, shimmered under the glow of streetlights, its rich history safely tucked within its walls. As dusk settled in, blanketing the city in darkness, two figures lurked in the shadows, a wiry man named Johnny and his childhood friend Mike, whose broad shoulders and hulking frame betrayed his nervousness. Johnny's sharp features and piercing blue eyes revealed a man on a mission, while Mike's hands trembled slightly, a telltale sign of the anxiety stirring within him. "You hear that?" Johnny asked, leaning forward in their booth at McGreevy's, a bar known for its live music and vibrant atmosphere. He pored over blueprints of the museum displayed on the table, illuminated by the dim glow of a nearby lamp. "It's all there for the taking, hidden behind those walls." Mike ran a nervous hand through his thick, dark hair, glancing around as if the very walls had ears. "You can't just waltz into a museum and take paintings. What if we get caught?" Johnny encountered Mike's hesitation with a smirk, a glint of mischief dancing behind his eyes, a gleam fueled by desperation and ambition. "That's the beauty of it, Mike. We're not going to get caught. I've watched them long enough. There are gaps, blind spots. Trust me, we'll slip through like ghosts." Johnny lifted his whiskey glass, his thoughts racing as he continued. "Think about it. All those years living in the shadows, and this is our chance to step into the light. We snag those paintings and we become legends." The thrill of ambition filled the air, intoxicating him. Mike eyed Johnny warily, skepticism creeping in. Legends or wanted criminals? Johnny leaned in closer, taking a breath that combined excitement and defiance. "What's the difference?" he shot back, his voice barely above a whisper, the thrill of possibility wrapping around them. "We'll be rich. We'll be free. We'll live life on our own damn terms." Thus began their spiral into a world of ambition wrapped in desire, secrets, and the inevitable unraveling of their dreams. As the echo of their ambitious plans resonated through their minds, the allure of the art became an irresistible siren call, one they would risk everything to answer. In the weeks that followed, Johnny and Mike forged the details of their plan with the fervor of artists sculpting a masterpiece. Late nights turned into early mornings, and the dim back of McGreevy's transformed into their war room, littered with empty beer bottles, greasy takeout containers, and the ever-present thrill of possibility. "Look at this," Johnny said, spreading out a yellowed blueprint of the museum, the paper frayed at the edges. His finger traced the layout with feverish determination. "This is the service entrance. It's rarely monitored after hours." Mike squinted at the map, anxiety knotting in his stomach. "So we sneak in there, and what? Pray the guards don't see us?" Johnny's excitement grew. "Exactly, but it gets better. I've watched them enough to know they take a half-hour break at 2 a.m. That's when we'll strike." Mike's fear simmered beneath the surface. "And the alarms? You said they're high-tech." With a knowing grin, Johnny revealed the next piece of their jigsaw puzzle. "Charlie can help us. He knows how to bypass that tech. He's done it before. Besides, he's got a knack for this stuff." His tone had shifted to one of confidence, inspiring a flicker of hope in Mike. Later that week, they met Charlie, a wiry tech whiz radiating an aura of geeky charisma who frequented the same bar and was always on the fringes of trouble. Johnny approached him, enthused about their grand heist. "Charlie, we've got a little project that needs some of your tech magic," Johnny said, half-jokingly throwing an arm around Charlie's shoulders, ushering him to a secluded booth. "What kind of project?" Charlie's brows furrowed in suspicion. Johnny leaned closer, lowering his voice conspiratorially. "We need a way to disable the alarms at the Gardner for a couple of minutes. Just enough time to grab what we want and get out." Charlie considered the proposition, the thrill of daring igniting a spark in his eyes. "You're talking about an art heist, aren't you?" Johnny nodded eagerly, a lopsided grin breaking through his usual demeanor. "The heist of the century. Just think about it. A couple of masterpieces worth millions. We'll need your brain, though. Your skills can help us pull this off." After a moment, Charlie shrugged, caught up in the thrill of caper. "All right, I'm in, but you better not drop my name." With Charlie on board, their plan solidified, breathing life into what was once a mere flutter of desire. Over the following weeks, they met in secret corners of the city, rehearsing every move, optimizing their strategy, fine-tuning every detail. "First, we get into the service entrance," Johnny outlined, pointing to the blueprint. "Then we dodge the motion detectors by using a couple of flashlights to reset them, just like a game of tag." "Like a game of tag?" Mike chimed in, a faint smile cracking his worried expression. "Exactly, but we're the winners." Johnny laughed, his spirits soaring. As the days crept closer to their planned heist, excitement transformed their anxious energy into a ritual that bound them together. They laughed, they dreamed, even shared tales of what they would do with their newfound wealth. Each meeting turned into a cryptic bond, a solidification of their resolve, even as doubts whispered in the corners of their minds. Finally, the night arrived. The moon hung low in a velvety sky, casting shadows over the city, as Johnny and Mike donned their dark clothes, each item meticulously chosen for stealth. "You ready?" Johnny asked, glancing over his equipment that lay meticulously packed in a black backpack, flashlights, gloves, a crowbar, and the small device Charlie had meticulously constructed, his heart pounding in anticipation. Mike inhaled deeply, steeling his nerves. "Let's do this." Emerging from the darkened alley, they crept toward the service entrance, the chill of the night biting at their exposed skin. Johnny unlocked the door, his hands shaking slightly, and they slipped inside, barely breathing as they entered the museum's quiet interior. "Patience," Johnny whispered, dragging Mike along as they navigated the dimly lit corridors leading to the main exhibit. Their adrenaline surged, reverberating through the silence around them. As they neared the gallery, they caught sight of the Rembrandt, the exquisite centerpiece they had targeted for weeks. Johnny's heart raced and he could hardly contain his excitement. "Remember, we've got just a few minutes before the guards come back," he reminded Mike, their eyes locking on the masterpiece. Reaching the motion sensors, the stakes felt higher than ever. Johnny held the flashlight steady, flicking it on and off, the tension palpable in the air as he counted down. "Now!" he hissed, darting forward as they shielded the painting, their hands gripping the edge of the frame, the gravity of the moment overwhelming. But as fate would have it, disaster struck. Without warning, the alarms wailed, shattering the stillness of the museum and filling the air with urgency. Panic surged through them like wildfire. "Go! We're out of time!" Johnny urged, adrenaline kicking in as they bolted down the hallways. As they raced toward the service entrance, the distant echo of footsteps reached their ears, guards responding, keen to apprehend the intruders. "It's right here, almost there," Johnny called urgently, pushing open the door leading to the cool night air. They ducked into the shadows of the alley, exhilarated, breathless with a mix of dread and triumph. Morning broke over Boston, illuminating the chaos that enveloped the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Police cars flanked its entrance, lights flashing as curious onlookers swarmed the area. The once peaceful atmosphere was now a frenzy of flashing lights, furious voices, and journalists clamoring for details. In the midst of the chaos, FBI agent Witman surveyed the scene, his auburn hair peppered with gray, a testament to years spent serving justice. He exuded an air of authority, keen eyes absorbing every detail of the museum's exterior and the distraught faces inside. "We need every available resource on this. Those paintings must be recovered," he barked to his team, restless energy coursing through him. Evelyn, the museum director, paced around the gallery, anxiety and determination etched across her face. "We can't lose those pieces," They aren't just artworks, they're part of our identity. Memories flooded her mind, her father's enthusiasm for art, the day she first walked through the museum's doors as a young girl, and how she vowed to protect its treasures. Rick Abath, the night guard whose heart weighed heavy with guilt, couldn't shake the oversight that led to this chaos. I should have done my job better. The alarm system was flawless. Someone must have known how to take advantage. As Rick combed through the security footage, his brow furrowed in frustration. There's a 30-minute gap in the video, he muttered, horror dawning upon him. That's when they could have acted. Witman turned sharply, fixing Rick with a piercing gaze. We need to investigate those gaps immediately. These thieves may have had inside help. Whispers began to swirl about Miles Connor, a new hire whose seemingly innocent inquiries about the artwork had raised eyebrows. Curiosity had led him too close to danger, and now eyes were scrutinizing him closely. You think he's involved? Rick asked, anxiety prickling at his nerves as instincts kicked in, the fear of repercussions embedding itself in his gut. We can't rule anything out, Witman replied, his voice low but resolute. Every lead counts. We can't afford to overlook anything. As the investigation unfolded, theories took shape like Polaroids developing in water. Some believed Miles had orchestrated the theft, while others considered a network of art thieves operating within Boston's artistic circles, biding their time for the perfect score. The whispers on the street multiplied. Some speculated the stolen paintings would be hidden in secret safe houses, while others calculated that they may have already been shipped out of the country to underground collectors. You think those guys could make millions from some pictures? One officer mumbled during a lunch break, incredulous at the thought. More than you know, another officer replied, leaning in, candor gleaming in his eyes. Art has a whole economy of its own. Buy low, sell high, and if you've got something unique. His voice trailed off, leaving the elsewhere unspoken. Media coverage of the heist escalated, each headline amplifying the audacity of the crime. Boston was buzzing with excitement. Everyone seemed to have an opinion or theory about the heist, and interest spiraled higher. Meanwhile, Johnny and Mike, now hiding in the shadows of their triumph, began to feel the pressure mount. They had crossed a line, and the reality of their choices began to unfold like a chilling horror movie as panic stirred within them. They gathered in their hideout late at night, discussing their next moves and the realization that they had opened a Pandora's box they couldn't close. We need to lay low until things cool down, Mike advised, his nervousness palpable, pacing like a caged animal. If they catch wind of us, it's over. Johnny ran a hand through his hair, frustration gnawing at him. You think it'll blow over. They're going to hunt us down. They're already onto us. We need a plan. In the stillness of their darkened hideout, the weight of uncertainty loomed heavy, haunted by the fateful chaos of the heist. What they had once viewed as a path to freedom morphed into a long, winding road filled with fear and the inevitable confrontation that lay ahead. As the days unfurled in a tangled web of leads, investigators combed through heaps of evidence, trying to fit together the shattered pieces of the night's chaos. Rumors illuminated the shadows, each one shedding light on an undercurrent of names within the intricacies of Boston's art scene. FBI agent Witman led a hushed meeting in a dusty conference room, where the weight of the museum's legacy lay heavy in the air. A massive whiteboard filled with photographs and names was prominent, each face holding a story, a potential clue to the heist. We have to focus on every angle, he began, determination etched into his features. We know Johnny and Mike were the thieves, but there's a strong chance they had help. Let's delve into Miles Connor's background, his interests, connections, everything. Detective Harris, a burly figure whose gruff demeanor masked a keen intellect, interjected. I've been looking into Miles. He's got ties to some unsavory characters, art dealers who've dabbled in stolen property before. Witman absorbed the information, feeling a sense of urgency tighten in his chest. We need to get him in for questioning. If he knows anything, we have to draw it out. Meanwhile, Miles sat at home, nerves fraying as the walls felt like they were closing in. He had daydreamed too much about the artwork adorning the museum walls, and now felt the terrible weight of his curiosity. The anxiety led to a call from Johnny, filled with unspoken dread that coursed through their odd friendship. "Miles, you need to keep your head down. They're sniffing around." Johnny's voice was strained, urgency echoing through the phone. A lump rose in Miles's throat. "What are you saying? I didn't do anything. I barely knew you guys." Panic surged through him. "Doesn't matter. They think you could be involved. If I were you, I'd clear my tracks and act as innocent as a newborn puppy." As pressure tightened around Miles, whispers turned to Vinnie Moretti, a notorious figure linked to art thefts, fragrant with past encounters of crime. Reports revealed that Vinnie had connections rooted deep within the art community, known for purchasing stolen masterpieces with impeccable confidence. "Vinnie is a wolf in sheep's clothing," mused Witman, recognizing the man's surgical precision in exploiting the art world for personal gain. "We need to keep tabs on him." As authorities dug deeper, whispers from informants began filtering in like fog, searching for voices along popular streets. A local barista, a young woman whose aspirations of becoming an artist were crushed by industry realities, reported overhearing a couple of art dealers at the local cafe discussing the theft and potential buyers. "They're saying those paintings might be moving soon," she relayed to investigators, low and hesitant, a sense of unease gripping her chest. "If you don't get them soon, they'll be gone." The investigation unfolded like a sprawling labyrinth, with every lead woven throughout the existence of Boston's artistic community. They questioned Miles repeatedly, a process that frayed his nerves like an old rope, increasingly wearing on his spirit. "You knew those paintings were valuable, Miles. Don't hide behind fear," Whitman pressed, his tone formal but laced with a hint of empathy, keen to understand the truth. Miles, sitting there with beads of sweat glistening on his forehead, fidgeted uncomfortably in his seat. "I swear I just worked there. I didn't even feel right about it. I like the art, that's all." Whitman leaned in further, lowering his voice to a near whisper to keep the conversation intense. "You were close to those paintings every day. Did you ever hear any chatter, anyone trying to sell stolen goods?" It was Miles's reluctance to delve deeper into his past social connections that made him a target. Each new lead unfurled before them, revealing more and more possibilities, intertwining like roots searching for nourishment in the dark. When the name Vinnie Moretti resurfaced, it became paramount. An informant slipped in a suggestion that the crew Miles had been spotted with frequented bars, where Vinnie was known to socialize. He was acting strange, almost anxious, the informant revealed, cautious but insistent. It was like he was lying low but couldn't shake this feeling of dread, like he knew something was coming for him. Days turned to weeks, while pressure mounted from the media and public alike, clamoring for rapid resolution in the wake of the heist. The frenzied headlines kept the incident alive in every Bostonian's mind, prompting the FBI to adopt an even more aggressive approach. Then fate struck a significant chord when a tip led federal agents to Vinnie's hangout at an unassuming dive bar on the outskirts of South Boston, a haven for those who operated on the fringes of legality. Agents observed Vinnie, noticing his easy laughter morphing into anxious glances over his shoulder. "We need to get those pieces out of the state. I don't care how, just do it," Vinnie barked as he leaned in, his voice ringing sharp enough for the agents to catch snippets of urgency. After hours spent monitoring the bar, they finally pulled Vinnie in for questioning. Witman was quick to corner him, his sharp intellect honed for such moments. "We have no choice but to charge you with conspiracy. We know you deal in stolen art," he declared, confidence exuding from him. Vinnie cackled, brushing off the severity of the situation. "You have no proof. You can't just drop my name. You think people will talk?" His bravado was a mask. The walls had started to close in. Yet with each passing moment, the walls around Vinnie and his associates began to buckle under the weight of betrayal. Fellow criminals, desperate to lessen their sentences or to find leniency, began to sing like birds, freely recollecting intricate details that often lead to better outcomes for themselves. One low-level art dealer, previously a part of Vinny's circle, became the linchpin for exposing the collaboration of Johnny and Mike, providing solid leads that linked them directly to the heist. As evidence mounted against Johnny and Mike, the FBI pieced together a comprehensive timeline leading to the heist. Witnesses echoed through the interrogation rooms, leading to a mountain of corroborative information. Charlie found himself under the bright lights of interrogation, fear shimmering in his eyes as the stakes were laid bare. "I didn't know they were going to steal anything," he insisted vehemently, caught between fear and loyalty, his words tripping over one another as he sat across from Witman. "You've got to believe me." But with each revelation, the evidence against Johnny and Mike only grew stronger. The stolen artworks remained shrouded in mystery, their absence a haunting reminder of ambition gone awry. The spiraling emotions fed the once sparkling excitement of their endeavor, now transformed into remnants of dread. Months passed, and when the day finally arrived, the shadows of the past converged to deliver Johnny and Mike into the hands of justice. The agents, tipped off by a once-trusted companion, apprehended them in a dingy basement hideout after a long and treacherous pursuit. "You set us up!" Johnny yelled, incredulity crashing over him as agents tackled them to the floor, bewildered by both the betrayal and the encompassing fate that was closing in around them. Mike's resigned nature led him to retort softly, "You had it coming, man." The trial that followed was a media spectacle, with onlookers gagging on tales of deception, cunning, and the lure of artistic grandeur. Prosecutors meticulously presented the masses of evidence, weaving a narrative of criminal conspiracy that entangled Johnny, Mike, and Vinny's role deeply into the tapestry of wrongdoing. Their collective actions had not only robbed the museum of its treasures, but also marred the cultural fabric of the community. This was more than a simple heist, the prosecutor intoned, commanding the jury's attention with an impassioned plea. It was a web of greed, deceit, and betrayal that has left one of our greatest institutions devastated. Compelling testimonies, including those from anxious and terrified witnesses such as Charlie and Miles, transformed the courtroom dynamics into a theater of justice. As the prosecution connected all dots, it became clear that they held the winning hand. The stakes had never felt higher. With mounting evidence and a flood of testimony, both Johnny and Mike were ultimately convicted, their actions unmistakable and the consequences clear. Johnny received a 15-year sentence while Mike received 10, their ambitious dreams lying shattered in wake of reality. In the rippling aftermath of their convictions, Vinny was apprehended as well, facing charges of conspiracy to distribute stolen property. The tighter the noose got, the more predictably he exploded into shambles. His reputation vaulting never to return, and his network crumbled around him like a house of cards. The art community breathed a collective sigh of relief, though shackled by the ongoing mystery of the missing masterpieces that now loomed larger than life itself. The aftermath of the Isabella Stewart Gardner heist became a case study in art theft, drawing both media attention and public intrigue that persisted for decades. The events of that night would leave an indelible mark on both Boston's cultural landscape and the world of art crime, becoming a symbol of lost heritage and the relentless pursuit of justice. Following the heist, the museum initiated an internal investigation and collaborated with the FBI, resulting in the establishment of a dedicated task force focused on recovering the stolen pieces. The investigation revealed a tangled web of leads involving various players in the art world. Witnesses reported seeing suspicious individuals frequenting the museum prior to the heist, raising questions about potential inside information. Miles Connor emerged as a prominent figure, a small-time thief with a known history in the art underworld. Law enforcement explored the possibility that he had insider knowledge about the museum's security protocols, leading to increased scrutiny on his activities following the heist. The FBI utilized state-of-the-art technology in their search, employing forensic analysis, interviewing countless witnesses, and tracking down leads that took them to different parts of the country. For years, they followed every possible hint, but the case remained cold. Reports indicated that agents had explored connections to organized crime, suspecting that the missing paintings could have been sold on the black market or hidden in secret locations known only to a select few. The case garnered significant attention not just from law enforcement, but from scholars, journalists, and documentary filmmakers eager to unravel the tale of the missing masterpieces. The narrative captured the imagination of many due to the blend of audacity, artistry, and the sheer mystery of the theft, inspiring several in-depth documentaries produced over the years. The investigation's lack of resolution has become a source of frustration for many, but it also sparked renewed interest in art recovery efforts across the globe. With the art world increasingly aware of its vulnerabilities, museums and galleries began to adopt improved security measures and protocols to safeguard their collections. Despite extensive investigations, including the involvement of former New York detective and artist Joe Murray, who believed the paintings could still be recovered, the whereabouts of the missing masterpieces remain a mystery. Heist, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum has transformed the theft into a part of its narrative, captivating visitors with the tales of what was lost. The museum has set up educational programs and exhibitions examining themes of art theft, recovery, and the cultural significance of artworks. The robbery has become a cautionary tale, reminding institutions globally of the need to protect cultural heritage. As the Gardner Museum continues to thrive, the art community holds onto a flicker of hope that one day the missing masterpieces will re-emerge, restoring not only the lost value but also a piece of their storied history. The heist remains a haunting echo in Boston's cultural fabric, a testament to the allure of art, the lengths to which some will go to possess it, and the enduring quest for justice that may eventually lead to the revelation of where those prized pieces reside. In the end, the legacy of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Heist, while steeped in loss and tragedy, has become a compelling narrative woven into the annals of art history, serving as an enduring reminder that beauty may be stolen, but its impact never truly fades. As new generations explore the mysteries forged in its wake, they are invariably drawn to the tantalizing and enigmatic story of art's fragility, its resilience, and the indomitable hope that art, like the legends of those who seek it,